Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Don Mosher. He's the corporate consultant for Cypress Development. Welcome back to the show, Don.
Pleasure as always, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Don, where is Cypress at with its PFS?
Our prefeasibility study is right in the finishing stages. We expect to have it out early in January. The whole front end of the mining flow sheet is all done, all the way from taking the clay stone out, putting it through the leach process, removing the solids, and ending up with the solution. We're in the critical stage right now of basically doing a bench-level pilot plant in the NORAM engineering facility here in Vancouver. And why that's critical is the end product. The lithium space is very misunderstood. I mean, lithium has a number of uses. It's used for lubricants, it's used for glass and ceramics, it's used by the pharmaceutical industry, and they're very different from the quality of lithium needed for battery grade. So you actually have quite a spread in pricing between the lithiums that are a lower grade lithium that can be used for those alternative uses as opposed to what you're using for battery grade. It's like a $3,000 or $4,000 a ton differential. So when we take our solution and run it through this bench level pilot project, if we can produce a battery grade lithium hydroxide, it's going to have a very positive impact on what our economics look like.
You were mentioning, production and demand is way up, but prices have come down. What's the split and why the difference?
The problem is lithium is not a global market. It doesn't trade like copper, and it's very different than gold and silver. I mean, when you're talking quality. And as a result of it not being traded globally, a lot of the stuff is traded on contract prices. And right now there was a lot of talk about an oversupply of lithium. Morgan Stanley put out a piece on it. It was contradicted by Eric Zoncharb at Canaccord. When Canaccord looked at it, they looked at it not from the fact of what's projected to be coming on stream, but Eric went back and took a look at what actually has happened over the last 5 years and how much of that projected supply came on stream. And there's a lot of projects out, like there's a spodumene project, Nemaska in Quebec, that's run into financial problems. And who knows when that project's going to come on. So last year there were 52 mega factories in the pipeline. This year there's 103 in the pipeline. The lithium index is down 12%, but the demand is up 18%, and everybody in the industry is depressed. How many industries can you think of out there that have an 18% growth and they're depressed? The other thing is all these brine projects. Emily Hirsch was being interviewed on it. Emily Hirsch is Argentinian, and she's taken a look at the instability in Bolivia, Chile, even her own country of Argentina. And the brine evaporation projects there not only are under a lot of pressure because of the water use, and the indigenous population's getting upset that they're not going to have access to water, but in addition to that, when's the last time a brine mine came on as far as production goes? So because it's a relatively new industry, meaning that in the past it was very stable, there was set amount of usage for all those traditional applications, and now we're seeing almost a new industrial age being born, where they're projecting by 2030 they're going to be producing 38 million cars a year, and there's billions of dollars being invested by Volkswagen, BMW, Tesla, of course, is all electric cars. You're going to see a lot of ups and downs in the industry. And what we've got is basically a new technology going into a new industry with these claystone mines that we're looking at coming forward with production on. And it's probably a great opportunity to be buying in the lithium sector because it is so depressed currently with very little money being invested into bringing on new production.
Don, your production's in Nevada, isn't it?
Our production that we're working on developing right now will be in Clayton Valley, Nevada, which is a great situation. Very stable domestically. The U.S. is going to need to go to work. Like, out of the 103 mega factories coming on or in the pipeline, 72 are in China, 14 are in Europe, and there's only 5 planned for the U.S. The U.S. is falling so far behind. Like, China's out front and center. Europe is trying to catch up. Nobody even talks about Japan and Korea and the amount they're using there. But I think if we can come out with battery-grade production in a claystone in Nevada, this project is going to be highly valued by the industry.
And, of course, yours is a high-quality product, isn't it?
We need to prove that yet, Jim. That's this last piece of the pre-feasibility that's being done in the engineering labs right now.
When do you expect to go into production, and how will that mesh up with the demand for high-quality lithium batteries?
Realistically, if we started the process in January, you're going to be looking at about a 2-year process for all the permitting, and then you're probably going to be looking at another 2 years for the construction build-out to actually being in production. I really don't see Cypress taking this all the way. I think this is going to be a situation that ultimately is bought by a much bigger player. We just need to get it through the pre-feasibility, and I think that will put the project into play.
Now, 4 years out from now, you can see places like China and India, which suffer from very poor quality of air because of their car use. By that period, there will be mandated use of electric cars, won't there?
That appears to be the way everything's going with all the climate change talk out there. I mean, the UN has called it a climate crisis. They're pushing for everybody to start to pull up their socks and achieve the goal set by the Paris climate talks. And a lot of work needs to be done if they're going to go that way. And right now, if you take a look at 2020 projections on lithium use for battery grade, it's about 315,000 tons. They're projecting by 2025 it's got to be 800,000 to 1 million tons. We're not even close to seeing that kind of production coming out anywhere in the world. That's why I'm saying you're going to see some peaks and valleys in the price of the lithium. There's no way there's an oversupply on this. If we go to 1 million tons of lithium demand, I don't know where it's going to come from. You're going to have to see a lot of capital investment into projects.
Don, for people who may not be familiar with Cypress, what are you guys all about?
We're a development company in the lithium space. We trade on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the symbol CYP. We also trade on the OTC down in the U.S. under CYP.V and in Frankfurt as C1Z1. All our information is available on site at cypressdevelopmentcorp.com. They can see all the studies and everything else there and look forward to us releasing our pre-feasibility study in January.
Don, thank you so much for the update.
My pleasure, Jim.
My guest has been Don Mosher, corporate consultant for Cypress Development. I'm Jim Goddard. Our conversation took place on December 4th.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at howstreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.